We are in London again with Redi Aybu, who is from Eritrea. Let's talk about the connections of this regime with the rest of the world. Who is supporting it?
The regime has no meaningful support from anyone, but we can say he's got a good relationship with Qatar and with the Sudan and with some security elements in eastern Sudan. And that's about it. He is lobbying to have a good relationship with Europe and America, but so far there is no meaningful bilateral relationship.
Historically, he has a relation with the Arab world, in particular, and why?
Yeah, historically, because of the geography, because of the history of the armed struggle, and our geographical location is in the Middle East. I mean, in the Arab world, and we did have good relationships with many Arab countries, and they did support the Eritrean struggle
Against Ethiopia?
Yes, they did support the armed struggle against Ethiopia.
And with Israel?
With Israel, this regime had a well. There are rumors he's got a good relationship with Israel, and after independence, immediately when he was sick, he went to Israel for treatment.
The government of Eritrea promised to reduce the military service. Is it really happening?
Well, to be honest, the reduction in the military service, I mean, they say they will do it 18 months. But this is things that has been said to Western governments and to Eritreans who live in the West. Actually, there is no, the people inside Eritrea, they don't know this. So it's just done for external consumption. So far, there is no news on the Eritrean media that says it has been reduced. So it's just done for external consumption.
Which are the mining industry interests in Eritrea? Who is more involved?
The biggest mining industry in Eritrea is the Canadian Nefsun and the Anglo-Italian Andiamo. And there are other small companies, and the Chinese also, they are interested, I think, in the potash mainly. But those are the ones that come to me now.
What is in the underground of Eritrea?
Well, there are lots of minerals, but mainly gold, potash, zinc, and so many other minerals. It's a virgin land, and there are lots of minerals, but so far it's gold, potash, and other byproducts.
Who is gaining from it?
Well, the regime and the mining companies, not the Eritrean people. In fact, it's a burden to the Eritrean people because they are forced to work there for free.
Military service means also work or only military training?
No, the military training is just 6 months, and then it's indefinite service in whatever the government wants you to serve. So it's not only military. The military part is mainly 6 months.
So you can also work in a mining industry as a soldier?
You can work wherever you are assigned. You have no choice. Yeah. I mean, the government can send you anywhere they like.
Who can change the situation in Eritrea? Which countries?
Only the Eritrean people can change the situation in Eritrea, and but we need the support of the international community. We need to cut the funding source for the regime in a way that does not affect the Eritrean people, and it's up to us to change the regime, not anyone else. But obviously, we need the help of the international community.
Maybe someone abroad is afraid of chaos. He thinks about Somalia, he thinks about Libya, and maybe someone in the West prefers to live a dictator rather than having chaos. Is it true?
That is true. I mean, the Western, especially the Western governments, they are quite content with the status quo. There is no chaos, and but these policies, they didn't work in Syria, they didn't work in Libya, they didn't work anywhere. And in Eritrea, actually, after all these years, it can only get better. There is no way it can get any worse than it is now. The sooner we get rid of this regime, it's the better for Eritreans, mainly for the region and for the entire world.
What can happen after the fall of this regime?
We hope the number of people leaving the country will stop. No one will leave the country. We will have a democratic and
Which type of international investments can be attracted with a different regime?
With a different regime, actually, Eritrea can attract tourists, can attract businesses, can attract small manufacturing companies. I mean, there is a whole lot potential in Eritrea, but with the current main problem is the refugee issue, and somehow we need to convince especially the European Union to deal with it properly, helping the refugees in neighboring countries, in Ethiopia, in Sudan, in Eastern Sudan, and also help them regroup and reorganize and be hopeful rather than risk their life on the Sahara, the Mediterranean, and the Sinai. They can help them in the neighboring countries. And at the moment, Europeans are still hoping the regime will help them cut the flow of refugees, which is completely wrong strategy.